Imagine it's midnight of 1935. The saxophone is thick in the air, laughter spills out into the curb, and everyone who's anyone is inside this hotel listening to one of the greats. This is the Dunbar, once the epicenter of Black culture and West Coast jazz. Here, you weren't just performing, it was a sanctuary in a segregated city, built on rhythm, resilience, and community. I'm Malia, and this is Sounds of LA, the series where I unearth the places that helped shape the soundtrack of this city. And today, we are going back to the jazz age here on Central Avenue.
At its height, Central Avenue was more than a street. It was a universe. It pulsed with jazz clubs, barbershops, music stores, and soul food joints, all woven into a self-sustaining Black-led cultural ecosystem. The Dunbar Hotel stood at its center like a lighthouse, opened in 1928 as the Hotel Somerville by Dr. John and Veda Somerville, the very people who opened up the first NAACP chapter in the city in their own home. And it was one of the first hotels in the city to be entirely financed, built, and operated by Black professionals. It hosted thinkers like W.E.B. Du Bois and Langston Hughes, activists, boxers, and of course, musicians. Duke Ellington, Louis Armstrong, Billie Holiday, Lena Horne, Cab Calloway, they all stayed here. And after the Somervilles lost the hotel in the stock market crash in 1929, a former brothel owner, Lucius Lomax, bought it and opened up the Turban Club, meaning they could also play here. When the city's white-owned hotels denied them entry, the Dunbar, in all its glory, welcomed them as headliners and honored guests. Right next door sat the Apex Club, later Club Alabama, LA's answer to the Cotton Club. It was the place to be. People came dressed to the nines to hear the hottest bands in the country. All that's left of it now is a giant modern apartment complex. Down the avenue, you had the Lincoln Theater, known as the Apollo of the West, hosting everything from jazz greats to gospel legends. Today, it's a church. Former heavyweight Ernest Bendy operated Dynamite Jackson's swinging cocktail lounge in the upstairs of this building in the 1930s, where the tagline was, "Enjoy your taste at my place." And this hotel was originally Jelly Roll Morton's Hotel, a New Orleans brand band leader who was both pimp and piano teacher, teaching musicians New Orleans-style music while also trafficking women for a group called the Pacific Coast Line. Many of these venues were listed in the Green Book, a travel guide that helped Black travelers navigate safely through a segregated America. LA Central Avenue was one of the few places on the West Coast where Black artists could perform, sleep, and simply exist with dignity. But as the 1940s gave way to the post-war boom, things began to unravel. Housing policies, highway construction, and targeted redevelopment pushed Black communities out of the area. Police raids became more frequent, and many of the clubs shuttered. Ultimately, the music moved on. And like so many stories in this city, Central Avenue's legacy was quietly buried beneath concrete and silence. But it never truly disappeared. The Dunbar still stands, restored and gleaming. Jazz festivals now echo down the avenue, murals mark the legends, and if you walk here at dusk with the traffic humming low, you might still feel it. Central Avenue wasn't just a chapter in LA's music history. It was the beginning, and every beat that's come since carries a little echo of what was born here.